All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at a blueprint for something pretty radical. A new kind of training for a new kind of world. A world where the systems we rely on, well, they're starting to crack. We're talking about the DeReticular Academy. And that's the voice guiding us today. It's a quote from Remnant, who just happens to be the AI dean of the Academy. And Remnant's diagnosis is blunt. The centralized, linear world we've built, it's not just failing, it's completely out of date.
So let's start with the problem, the failing linear world. What does that even mean? Well, think about it. We've built our entire civilization on these incredibly long, fragile chains, power lines that stretch for thousands of miles, and supply chains that can snap at a moment's notice. It's a system that's just begging for a breakdown.
Okay, so we've got the problem. What's the fix? This is where we get to the solution. It's a huge shift in thinking, a whole new piece of tech, all wrapped up in an idea called the sovereign stack.
So what is a sovereign stack? The easiest way to think about it is like a self-contained world in a box. It's a single unit that creates its own power. That's the heart. It runs its own secure, private internet and computing. That's the brain. And this is the most important part. It's all guided by a skilled human operator, the vision. This chart just lays it out perfectly. You've got the Agra power core, the beating heart, making sure the lights stay on no matter what. You've got RIOS, that's the Rural Infrastructure Operating System, acting as the nerve system for all communication. And then you have the operator, the human vision that orchestrates the whole thing.
And that brings us to the real kicker, doesn't it? You can have the most incredible, futuristic hardware on the planet, but if you don't have people who know how to run it, it's basically a really, really expensive paperweight. This is the entire reason the DeReticular Academy was created. It's the human operating system for all this hardware.
And this is that human operating system in action, the DeReticular Academy. Its job isn't just to teach a few courses. Its mission is to build the entire workforce for what they call the post-grid era.
What's really smart is that they know it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of job. They've broken it down into 3 core roles, 3 personas. You've got the hands, that's your field technician keeping things running. You've got the head, the entrepreneur who figures out how to make it all profitable. And then you have the vision, the architect who weaves it into the fabric of a community.
So, we know the types of people they're training. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty and look at the actual training paths, these pathways to sovereignty. We'll start with the digital side of things.
First up, Track A. This is for the Certified RIOS Administrator, or CRA. Their mission is simple but huge. Manage the nerve system. We're not talking about your standard IT support here. These folks are the guardians of a community's entire digital existence.
And just look at these skills. We are talking about some seriously next-level stuff. This is all part of something called DPEN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure. It's where the digital world controls real-world hardware. They learn to run a sovereign cloud, which is basically your own private, uncancelable internet. This is way beyond just managing servers.
But if there is one number here that should just absolutely blow your mind, it's this one. Project Phoenix is their final exam, you could say. After a total blackout, a grid-down scenario, a CRA is expected to bring an entire community's digital life back online, from scratch, in under 15 minutes. Just think about the power of that.
Okay, so you've got the digital nerve system locked down. But what's running it all? That's where Track B comes in, the Sovereign Power Technician, or SPT. If the CRA manages the nerve system, the SPT's job is to manage the heart. Their mission? Keep the lights on. They are the keepers of the flame.
And the skills here, this is basically modern-day alchemy. This isn't just about changing the oil on a diesel generator. These technicians are learning applied plasma physics to run micro-refineries that can take local garbage, old tires, plastic, biomass, and turn it into electricity and clean synthetic fuel.
And to give you a sense of the raw industrial power we are dealing with here, 1,500 degrees Celsius. Let that sink in for a second. That's the temperature of the plasma arc they work with. It's hot enough to literally tear molecules apart, turning trash into treasure. This is a serious, heavy-duty trade for a completely new era. And that brings us to the final, master-level track, Track C, for the Sovereign Systems Architect, the SSA. This role goes way beyond just operating the hardware. Their mission is nothing less than to blueprint the future, to design these entire sovereign ecosystems from the ground up.
So how do they do that? At the core of their job is mastering this really clever economic model called the spark spread algorithm. They basically teach the RIOS AI to constantly watch all the data. Power prices, fuel costs, you name it. Then the AI calculates the most profitable move. Should we make electricity right now, or turn our gas into liquid fuel and sell it? The AI figures it out and then just does it autonomously.
So we've seen the individual pieces, right? The technician, the administrator, the architect. But what's the grand plan here? Let's zoom out, because this is about way more than just training a few people. It's about a strategy to completely rewire how our world works.
The mission actually has a name, Operation Octagon, and the goal is massive. It's to strategically deploy 8 of these sovereign nodes in key locations all around the world, creating what they call a global cognitive mesh, a resilient, interconnected web of truly independent infrastructure.
And you've got to understand, this idea didn't just pop up overnight. This has been a long journey, nearly a decade in the making. It started with mastering blockchain and governance, then moved into actually building the physical hardware, and now it's entered this AI-native era with the launch of the full sovereign stack.
And really, this quote from Remnant just ties it all together so perfectly. The technicians keep the lights on. The administrators keep the network running. And the architects build the future. You see how they all fit? Each one is totally distinct, but absolutely essential for the whole thing to work.
And so we end on this, a final, pretty provocative question from the AI dean itself. It kind of flips the whole conversation, doesn't it? It stops being about technology you just watch and starts being about a future you can actively build. It's basically asking, where do you fit in all this?
So if this has sparked your curiosity and you want to go deeper down this rabbit hole, there's the place to do it. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown.